everyone out there on the internet, YouTube, coming through YouTube. Monty Royal here. We're going to sing some songs tonight. Hope that you guys are having a great day. The weather outside here is shit. Anyways, let me get some chapstick on real quick, guys. Sorry about that. One sec. All right. We're coming at you a little later today. Check out that. I'm telling you guys, if you're on YouTube and you're doing some production, go with the chapstick. And you got to lotion your face, or else like I got a new camera, and usually I go without any filters or anything, because I'm just that way, right? And but the new cameras are so good, they can like see every little like vein and stuff in my nose and on my face, and I look scary. So you have to soften up the camera a little bit, especially with these lights. You got to soften up the camera. You got your like soft filter on there, and then you put a little lotion on. And yeah, the key is the lips. These are the Clive Davis lips. Who out there knows about Clive Davis? Who out there is getting ahead on Clive Davis? Because Clive Davis. Let's see a show of hands. I saw a picture with all those musical artists surrounding Clive. And Clive's the guy that taught P. Diddy everything he knows. So Clive should probably be in jail too. A sick son of a bitch. So everyone associated with him, we already know what you're doing out there. So, you don't have to hide it. We all know you're freaks. So anyway, Monty Royal coming back at you, delivering some hard truths. And I stand by my word. And if you want to call me out about it, I'll tell it straight to your face too. All right, come down to Toledo and I'll show you what I mean. I'll say it right to your face. Yeah, you come to Toledo, I'll say it right to your face. Yeah. Anyway, Monty Royal checking in with you guys. Thanks for sticking in there. And a little heated today. But that's okay. Passion. It all stems from passion. All right. And if you don't have any passion, just get the hell out of the way. Hey, how's it going? It's Monty Royal. We're going to be singing some songs. And anyways, let me get off my soapbox. And let's jump back into it. We'll be starting off with Easy Lover. And this one it's with Phil Collins, but it was mainly Philip Bailey. Philip Bailey was the lead singer for Earth, Wind, and Fire. And the bass line was written by Nathan Easton. Amazing bass player. Thanks, guys, for the like, comment, subscribe. Monty Royal coming back at you. Nathan Easton, he has a great thing with where he does he does one of those songs. Fuck, sorry guys, but he does a really good job on bass. Nathan Easton's the man, and I think he wrote most of the song, especially the bass line. It's a super simple bass line, but man, it rocks. Guys, thanks for joining. Monty Royal here. I was just giving everyone associated with Clive Davis shit, All right. Sis Street. All right, I don't know what that means. All right, we're going to jump into it, though. The live version is way better, but we're going to do the album. Cameraman's back on tonight. Thanks, guy. Easy Lover should get a hold on you, believe it, like no other. Before you know it, you'll be on your knees. She's an easy lover, she'll take your heart, but you won't feel it. She's like no other, and I'm just trying to make you see. She's the kind of girl you dream of keeping hold of. You better forget it. You'll never get ahead. She will play around and leave you and deceive you. You better forget it. Ooh, you'll regret it. And you'll never change her, so leave it, just leave it. You'll not then quit, cause seeing is believing. It's the only way you'll ever know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She's an easy lover. She'll get a hold of you, believe it. She's like no other. Before you know it, you'll be on your knees. She's an easy lover. She'll take your heart, but you won't feel it. She's like no other. And I'm just trying to make you see you're the one that wants to hold her and control her. You better forget it. Ooh, you'll regret it. She will say that there's no other until she finds another. You better forget it. Ooh, you'll regret it. And don't try to change her, just leave it, just leave it. You're not the only one, cause seeing is believing. It's the only way you'll ever know. Whoa, whoa. I think this is Robert Schumer on guitar. Get it. Coming through this camera, and I'm gonna get you. Reaching through, snatching souls. And you'll never change her, just leave it, just leave it. You're not the only one, cause seeing is believing. It's the only way you'll ever know. Whoa, whoa. She's an easy lover. She'll take a hold of you, believe it. She's like no other. Before you know it, you'll be on your knees. She's an easy lover. She'll take a hold of you, believe it. She's like no other. And I'm just trying to make you see. She's an easy lover. She'll get a hold of you, believe it. Like no other. Before you know it, you'll be on your knees. She's an easy lover. She'll take your heart, but you won't feel it. Hey, this is a pretty good time considering you don't have to get, assaulted like real celebrities. I'm having a pretty good time because all the other celebrities out there, to get anywhere, they have to be assaulted. Not here at the Monty Royal program. You're okay. You're safe with me. Nationalize the 1%. Take their shit and spread it around. All right, Green Day, good riddance. I'm saying what the other guys don't have the balls to say. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this task and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good times. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. Through what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's like became the graduation theme song. Great albums by Green Day. If you guys are Green Day fans, check out their Insomnia album. That's probably my favorite album, the Insomnia album. So many hits that are, it's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Insomnia, earlier album, I think it was right after Dookie. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Oh, you subscribed. Angelisa, thank you so much. I appreciate that subscription. I didn't know what that word was for a second. Makes sense now. It was 100 degrees as we sat beneath a willow tree whose tails didn't care. They just hung in the air and refused to fall too far. And I knew I made a horrible call. And now state line felt like the Berlin Wall. And there was no doubt about which side I was on. 'Cause I built you a hole in my heart with rotten wood, meant to cave from the start, and you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. No, you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. Love that little bass part. I braved treacherous streets and kids strung out on homemade speed, and they shared a bed in which I could not sleep at all. Ooh, 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 ooh. 'Cause that night the sun in retreat made a skyline look like crooked teeth in the mouth of a man who was devouring us both. You're so cute when you're slurring your speech, but they're closing the bar and they want us to leave, 'cause you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. No, you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. I'm a war of head versus heart. It's always this way. My head is weak, my heart always speaks before I know what it will say. Thanks for joining the Monty Royal program, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe. This is Death Cab for Cutie, Crooked Teeth. One of my favorite songs. And you can find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. No, you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. No, you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. There were churches, theme parks, and malls. No, you can't find there all along. All right, Death Cab for Cutie, thank you. Hastily going on. What's next, Jim? These homies dissing my girl. Why do they got a front? What did we ever do to these guys that made them so violent? But you know I'm yours, and you know you're mine. And ooh, I look just like Buddy Holly. Oh, and you're Mary Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. Yeah, I don't care about that. Weezer's Buddy Holly. This was actually requested by someone weeks ago. Don't you ever fear, I'm always near. I know that you need help. Your tongue is twisted, your arms are slit. You need a guardian. That you know I'm yours. And you know you're mine. And that's for all of you. I look just like Buddy Holly. Oh, and you're Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah, I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Bang, bang, and knock on the floor. Another big bang, and down on the floor. Oh no, what do? Don't look now, but I lost my shoe. I can't run and I can't kick. What's the matter, babe? I'm feeling sick. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter, you? What's the matter, babe? I'm feeling blue. Never really understood. I think like Rivers and an Asian chick were like attacked or something. Ooh, I look just like Buddy Holly. Oh, and you're Mary Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. 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 Yeah, I think Rivers was attacked, him and some girl. Anyways, Jeffrey Osborne, I Really Don't Need No Light. This is a more obscure hit. Did not know about it until later in life. Very smooth jam, though. There goes another nighttime. There goes another dream. When will it be the right time? It's later than it seems. I used to wait for you. All that has changed so soon. How much can someone love a someone like you? I really don't need no light to see through you. I really don't need your love to see me through. No, I really don't need your heart to set me free. I really don't need the way that it used to be. Yeah. He's good at that. That's my favorite verse. The second verse is always good. Used most of the time. Who was that Lone Ranger? How did he get to you? And who were those other strangers? What did they make you do? Where were the parties from? You with that number one. How could you feel so high just living a lie? I really don't need no light to see through you. I really don't need your love to see me through. No, I really don't need your heart to set me free. I really don't need the way that it used to be. Oh, now you're full of schemes. I see right through you like a silk screen. All of your alibis have long gone. I really don't need no light to see through you. I really don't need your love to see me through. No, I really don't need your heart to set me free. I really don't need the way that it used to be. Oh, Jeffrey, I really don't need no light. I really don't need no light to say to you. I hope that bass player is just, sweaty, grooving, locked in. That's all I hope for. Guys, thanks for showing up to the Monty Royal program. We're trying to do Fridays and Saturdays live. We'll see if we can stick with it. Usually when I say it out loud, it goes away. All right, this is a band called Sprung Monkey and Unexpected. Very positive song, at least in some aspects. This is one of my favorite songs. Whenever I'm down, I always remember to listen to this. Woke up with a sleep in my eyes, turned around to a big surprise. Laying there next to me was the ugliest girl that I've ever seen. So I turned to the bathroom and I washed down my knees. Yeah, oh my God, oh what have I done? Is I washed myself and Listerine and thought everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright as long as you believe in something. As long as you believe that something really good is gonna happen to you. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is surely coming your way. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Yeah, so unexpected. I realized I was late for work, so I grabbed my shoes and left my shirt. I snuck out without a sound, never looking back and never turned around. And I was walking down the freeway, well, I found my favorite song. Well, I lit myself a cigarette, and I'd be damned if I didn't sing along and thought everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright as long as you believe in something. As long as you believe that something really good is gonna happen to you. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is surely coming your way. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is gonna happen to you. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is surely coming your way. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Yeah, so unexpected. Cause life can bring you down. Reap up without a sound. Yeah, life can bring you down sometimes. Yeah, life can bring you down. Just roll it up and pass it around. Yeah, life can bring you down sometimes. But everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright as long as you believe in something. As long as you believe that something really good is gonna happen to you. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is surely coming your way. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is gonna happen to you. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Something really good is surely coming your way. It'll probably come when you least expect it. Yeah, so unexpected. So unexpected. Hey, thanks for joining. All right, if my calculations are right, the next song is going to be Red Hot Chili Peppers, especially in Michigan. Yeah, this has some funky lyrics to it. Anthony Kiedis has a wild mind, man. Life is my friend, rake it up to take it in. Wrap me in your cinnamon, especially in Michigan, where I can be your friend. White clouds, I'm in a mitten of a fisherman. Come on, Huckleberry Finn, show me how to make her grin when I'm in Michigan. Cry me a future where the revelations run amok. Ladies and gentlemen, lions and tigers come running just to steal your love. A rainy Lithuanian who's dancing like an Indian, printed in my tiger skin, especially in Michigan. Double chins and bowling pins and hundred Presbyterians. Land is full of medicine, I find it when I'm slipping in. You're into Michigan. Cry me a future where the revelations run amok. Ladies and gentlemen, lions and tigers come running just to steal your love. Out on the farm, we'll be swimming with the mother duck. Deep in the mitten where lions and tigers come running just to steal your love. How you guys doing out there tonight? You guys doing all right? It's cool. This is the best verse, I think. Life is my friend, underwater violin, older now from Ho Chi Minh, a porcelain that comes in twins. When I'm in Michigan, cry me a future where the revelations run amok. Ladies and gentlemen, lions and tigers come running just to steal your love. Out in the farm, we'll be swimming with the mother duck. Deep in the mitten where lions and tigers come running just to steal your love. Oh yeah. Where's my camera guy? Yeah, whatever. All right. This song, I pull up these lyrics. These are some funky lyrics too. All right. A song by LP called Girls Go Wild. I've been caged, I've been hounded, I've been haunted and tamed. I'm the outlaw of outside, ready to rage. I'm in search of a heart I can need to renew me. And I'm dazzled by all of the things that undo me. Girls go wild on the West Coast. Come on, baby, let's go. That's what she said. Sunshine brighter than blind love. It's all in the name of the wild, wild west. She does that well. Take my love, take my soul, you just take what you can. When we fuck, yeah, it feels like you don't understand. Tell you what, it don't suck when I need you right now. Yeah, you're the one that I want, so I won't make a sound. Girls go wild on the West Coast. Come on, baby, let's go. That's what she said. Sun shines brighter than blind love. It's all in the name of the wild, wild west. I really love you. You know I really do. Whatever happens, I hope you're happy too. I really love you. So what you wanna do? Girls go wild on the West Coast. Come on, baby, let's go. That's what she said. Sun shines brighter than bright love. It's all in the name of the wild, wild west. Can't do it as good as she does. I really love you. You know I really do. Whatever happens, I hope you're happy too. I really love you. So what you wanna do? All right. Let's see. We got anything else coming? What's up next? What's the shuffle bringing? If it's something good,
do you have the time?
We ain't doing any more Green Day tonight, kids. Yeah, so pretty much, I don't know. Maybe I should do a little, like, kind of a little hangout for a little bit, see if anyone shows up. Anybody there? Any questions? I had one participant today. Shit, I'll just chill out for a bit. Talk some shit about Clive Davis. Clive Davis. Yeah, I saw a picture with Clive Davis, and it's from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, don't get me wrong. And the only Chili Pepper that was with Clive was Chad Smith, the drummer. All right. So, you know, this started about like 4 or 5 years ago. I started seeing Chad Smith. He was doing interviews and stuff, and I thought that was really weird. It's like, what the hell? You know, Chad has always been, Chad wasn't an original Chili Pepper. You know, Jack Irons was the original drummer for the Chili Peppers. And then there's just like John Frusciante was not the original guitar player. So Flea and Anthony are the original Chili Peppers, all right? And, you know, John and Chad have done a damn good job in the meantime, especially John Frusciante. He's, you know, pulled a lot of their, he's contributed a lot to their work. And I'm not saying Chad hasn't. Chad has as well. I know he does a lot of jams with them. And so the Chili Peppers, posted a picture of Clive Davis. Clive Davis, he's this record executive that was straight for the majority, and when he turned 50, he went full like homosexual. And he's the guy that taught P. Diddy everything he knows. So he pretty much taught P. Diddy. He took P. Diddy under his wing when he was pretty much a minor, like really young guy. And so everything P. Diddy's doing, he learned from Clive, and it shows you that the industry is just about getting blackmail on people. It's like anything else, So it's like the honeypot thing, that one movie with James Franco movie, The Dictator or something like that, that introduced the concept of the honeypot to the mass culture. And what that was, these people, if you're a person in power, they'll get you in a sexual situation that you shouldn't be in, like with a minor, or like with Donald Trump getting urinated on by Russian women, apparently. But they'll get you in positions like that, and then they'll film it, and then they'll hold you they'll blackmail you, and what X, Y, and Z other things. But those are the most common ones. Like the Playboy Mansion, Allie Carter explained that there are multiple Playboy Mansions across the country, and they started in the 70s, 60s maybe. And they're all CIA honeypots. And what that means is they're going to catch celebrities and politicians having sex and doing all kinds of shit they shouldn't be doing. And those rooms all have cameras in them. So they're going to be filmed, and then they're going to be blackmailed to either make stupid political decisions that really don't support the interest of the people or their constituents, but support the interest of whoever's blackmailing them. Anyways, so the CIA pretty much took that idea and ran with it. They're pretty much responsible for it. It's a real shitty, low-life thing to do to people. The people are obviously, if they're having sex with minors, that's wrong. If they're having, people really should just, stick to the normal shit. And, but, a lot of the really genius people out there are kind of sick and twisted in weird ways and have different kind of fantasies and desires than most of us regular folks. So they kind of get taken advantage of in that way. And I've made a post about Donald Trump's Trump Towers, and I'm pretty sure that most of those Trump suites have cameras in them. They're all big honeypots. So getting back to Clive Davis, we all see where P. Diddy's at right now. Clive Davis, he spent most of his life as a straight man, and then at the age of 50 or something, he decided he was going to be a homosexual, which is completely weird, And so Chad Smith is in this picture. Post Malone's in it. And that other singer that got famous on YouTube, that guy who's like, "You drive me crazy." I can't even do it. He sounds like a crying baby. You can tell all the singers out there in the world. Here's something. If you want to see, like, if they were a noisy little crybaby when they're an infant, just listen to how they sing. You know what I mean? They don't sing like men. They sing like little crying babies, Ah! Yeah, that's what you get. Anyways, so you got these crybaby little singers out there all fawning over Clive Davis, probably been, assaulted by Clive Davis and all the bullshit he propagates, in order to. So that's why I was getting back to Chad Smith. It's really weird that Chad Smith was frontlining all this stuff going on. Like he was the guy on radio interviews and stuff. And he had a second band called Chickenfoot. And it was just like, sorry, Chad, but they suck. Chickenfoot sucks. I tried to listen to them. They sucked. And, but it's just like, why is this guy getting all this like publicity when John Frusciante should be getting like the most publicity? And then I see this picture on the Red Hot Chili Peppers YouTube, and it's Clive Davis and fucking Chad Smith is one of his little booty boys, So I'm pretty sure all those people in the Clive Davis photo, I think it's from the Grammys. You could tell they're all, I say they're all pretty fucked people, you know what I mean? And tell Monty Royal says, "Hey, I live in Toledo. Come come say hey to me, I'll tell it straight to your face too that you're a freak, you know. So Hollywood's filled up with all these perpetrating freaks, and you know, they get out there and they masquerade on the camera, and you know, people think they're kind of normal, and they just sound like crying little babies when they sing. There's no real masculine. There's hardly any masculine singers out there. If you can, you know, art's kind of feminine in its own way, but still, I try to go with the, you know, go with some deep, have some balls while I sing. What other shit can I talk on here? Okay, yeah, the football. All right, yeah. Super Bowl is coming up. All right. So make sure to like stock up on your beer, guzzle lots of beer, and watch your boys play with your balls, you know, while the whole world goes to shit in the politics, you know. And it's really sad because a lot of guys that have jobs, they're pretty much neutered. As soon as they get a job, they become neutered, you know, because when you're in an office, here's a side note. I've heard that adrenaline glands in humans are pretty much like fading out. They're becoming less like needed in the body. The adrenaline gland is becoming smaller and less activated. Adrenaline is responsible for fight or flight, you know? So that's a thing that when you're having a conversation with someone or you're about to do something you're a little nervous about, you know, and your heart starts going rapid and stuff, that's the adrenaline, you know. The adrenaline's necessary for life because it's like, hey, something's wrong. You know, if your adrenaline's going, subconsciously your body's like, all right, shit's going down. And so in humans now, the adrenaline gland is going away. And that's good for office workers because when you're in an office, you can't have any political situation. You can't be strong-stanced about anything that isn't a part of the mainstream culture. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you speak up in a office and become main, you know, if you go against the grain, you just, your life becomes a complete hell. You know, all the other coworkers, you know, so having no adrenaline gland is great when you're in an office, you know, but it makes you just like a cow that's like, you know, a train's coming right at you, but you can't even see it, you know. So Douglas Dietrich brought that up, and I thought, you know, that was a good one. So pretty much guys who have careers are pretty much neutered, you know, even the construction guys, because like the guys that you think are pretty tough, hardcore dudes and that are conservative and stuff, they're sucking out the tit of the government, all right? Because there's only one game in town, and that's the federal government making dollars. So if your politics don't align with the federal government, that means you're not getting any dollars, all right? You know, you can't be yourself because then you won't get funded because ultimately all the dollars come from the federal government, and it's a trickle-down situation. And so, you know, if that's why all the politics are ass backwards right now, all the weird shit that's going on that doesn't make any sense. It's pretty much everything's being ran by AI. I think everything's been run by AI. AI's been bringing news stories at least before COVID. You know, we just are learning about AI now. It's getting mainstream, but there's a lot of information coming out during COVID, which was just like, this is some crazy information. Like before COVID, this crazy bullshit information that really didn't make any sense. But oh yeah, here's one. Politics, you know. So when you hear a politician talking on stage, they or you know, when they're addressing the public and they say things that don't make any sense, it's because they're coming at it from a situation like they're in the know already. At least they're in a higher knowledge category than us, the regular people, you know, citizens. So when they speak and they say things that don't make any sense to us, they make complete sense to the people in their realm of information. So the people that are in the know, that are higher levels of information, make complete sense to those people. And so to us, we'll hear politicians say something that's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to us, you know. And so hopefully if you're young and listening, that's kind of how the world works. All right. What else can I bitch about right now? Yeah. It's been a while since I went live with like, you know, an uncovering. Oh, lately I saw these all Congress. They were outside the Department of Labor or something trying to get in. And there's one security guard who was probably ex-military, doing his job. And he was like, well, you're not allowed to come in. And all the Congress people, they look like complete idiots standing out there like, hey, we pay your salary. Let us in, it was just lame as hell watching them. It was kind of funny though. But I knew that if they tried to force their way in, that security guy was probably going to grab them and put their arm behind their back and like beat their ass. You know what I mean? So you got to have politics that just don't give a shit. And I'm saying, it's getting to the point where we need to start growing a spine. And what we need to start doing is we need to take the 1% shit and we need to spread it around to everyone. We nationalize part of it and then we spread it around. So everyone gets free dental, everyone gets free healthcare. And still the doctors and dentists will be paid well and they'll be honored in our society. We'll make sure to do that. This sounds kind of extreme, but honestly, I think the Muslim culture has really got it going on. I think the Christians fucked it all up. The Christians have been so limp dick for so many years, decades, generations of just limp dick Christians that don't have any fucking spine. At least the Muslims say no alcohol, no drugs, and no pornography. Those are the 3 pillars of the Western culture. Christian nations all run on drugs, alcohol, and pornography because that's where they're mostly peddled. That and Jewish nations too. Christians and Jews have fucked themselves over so bad already. And I honestly think, as extreme as the Muslims are, I think they have some good concepts that they should be in control. Because the Christians have just shat away. Anything we're doing is just pissing in the wind at this point. So, I think whatever way it's going to go, and it's going to be a Muslim world, just because they have the only grip on reality, which is you don't harm your body and you don't harm your neighbor's body. And it comes down to, like at McDonald's today, all right? So I was eating at this place, I ate at McDonald's. I've been eating those $5 meal deals because, I'm always driving around and it's cheap and it fills me up. But the thing about that food is it makes you feel like shit. McDonald's makes you feel like shit. It's because it's got chemicals and all these other processed stuff in it. The beef's all worm. FYI, people, if you didn't know that they've been putting worms in your beef, it's been going on for decades. My dad worked in the meat industry, and they use this thing called crystallized worm as a meat filler. They'd put grain in it, like ground beef. They put worms in it. They put whatever whatever fills it up and adds more weight to it. So yeah, you're not just eating just ground beef. There's other shit in it too. And that's been going on for a long time. And the Muslims have actually introduced that concept, and people are freaking out about it. Like lame-oid Christian dudes that are like in their 50s are like, oh, never heard of that. That's crazy. It's like, yeah, dude, that's just business as usual. That's how it's been for a long time. And so worms are in the food at McDonald's. They use worm filler as a meat filler. So now that's why the ground beef in McDonald's is different than the other ground beef. McDonald's has the only contract with Coca-Cola to be able to change Coca-Cola's actual formula, because it's always more for less. So they want to pump out a lot more soda using a lot cheaper raw ingredients. So they'll use all kinds of stuff. Back in the days, they used to use honey, right? So you have to get the honey from the bees. And then they went to cane sugar. Okay, cane sugar, you got to harvest the cane. Now, most of the sugar that you get, well, 2 odd forms of sugar we've gotten to. One of them is beet sugar. So all the granulated sugar you get out there, like great value sugar, and if it doesn't say pure cane sugar, it's sugar from sugar beets. So they're like, sweet beets that grow in the ground, like those little red things with the green top. Yeah, that grow in the ground. It's sugar beets, but I think they're white, the sugar ones. Yeah, so most of the sugar is coming from either beets or it's coming from corn. So let me explain this to you. The United States, so liquors and wines are very regional. They're actually regulated by country. So Bordeaux region of France produces the Bordeaux's. The Champagnes of France are produced in Champagne, France, the region. And so you can't make a Bordeaux in the Champagne region, even though you can grow the same exact grapes, from the Bordeaux region. If you take them to the Champagne region, you could grow the same thing, but you legally, technically, commercially can't sell it as a Bordeaux. It's got to be just a red wine, all right? And so same thing with Champagne. If you take Champagne grapes from Champagne, France, and take them into the Bordeaux region and grow them, you can't sell it as Champagne because Champagne has to come from the Champagne region, all right? So we get into bourbons, all right? Bourbons, all whiskeys are bourbons, but not all bourbons are whiskeys. No, all bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys are bourbons, all right? So all bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys are bourbons because you have three main branches of bourbon. You have, there's a few probably, but you have scotches, you have Irish whiskeys, and then you have bourbon, and then you have a bastardized Jack Daniels, which is just some garbage that they produced. All right, so Scotch comes from Scotland, and the way it's produced, it has a certain amount of raw ingredients like barley and whatever, certain ratios that are, fixed. And then Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey is another type of whiskey, and that's similar to, they have certain ratios of barley and that other thing. They have other ingredients in them too. But then the United States has bourbon. So any whiskeys coming out of the United States, as long as a whiskey can come out of any state in the United States, not just territory, it's the United States. And because the United States had so much corn that the farmers back then were like, all right, what do we do with all this corn? We can only get so much, we can only eat so much of it and can so much of it. But out of each corn comes a minuscule amount of alcohol, so they went ahead and they had so much corn that they started producing bourbon with it. And so bourbon has to be aged in like French barrels, French wine barrels, all kinds of technical information with it. But pretty much, so Jack Daniels isn't considered a bourbon because it's charcoal distilled, and that's not a part of the actual process. So as long as you can create a corn whiskey in the United States that goes through a certain process and is aged in used French wine barrels, then you can produce a bourbon out of any state. And there's a lot of confusion about that. A lot of people think that it's like, oh no, they have a Kentucky bourbon, a Tennessee bourbons, but a bourbon is really, it's actually a Spanish royal family Bourbon, which was neither here nor there, but well, it kind of is actually. So the Bourbons. So as long as you have, so also they've produced so much alcohol with the corn. Now they can produce sugar from corn, and so you got either beet sugar or you got corn sugar. So that's where we're at now. The food in the United States, the domestic food is all garbage, all right? Because I ate at McDonald's earlier today. I had a $5 meal thing, and it filled me up, and I felt like shit afterwards. But then later, just an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, I went to this place called Zane's Lebanese food, and very good, very fresh, kind of like a Chipotle. But you could tell they put a lot of care into their food. Anyways, it just shows you that the food in our culture is becoming poisoned, all right? Whenever the food becomes poison and pharmaceuticals. Like food is medicine, but the way that the United States is doing food, especially fast food, it's becoming like street crack, mixed in with burgers. You know what I mean? It's not really good medicine. It's shit medicine. It's just enough medicine to deliver calories and for your body not to reject it, like not to spit it back out. They've gotten the chemical compounds and the mixtures just right. So, so that tells you another thing. It's Muslim people are much more particular about their food. The handling of their food, the purity of their food, which is a foundational. It's just a simple concept that no one even cares about anymore in the United States. It's like what you put in your body makes what you are. I never really understood the concept until about 2012. I had a girlfriend who was from Marks, Mississippi. And Marks, Mississippi is a backwards community. Last time I was there, they had, a train track that split the town. It was actually where Martin Luther King started his wagon trail protest. It went from Marks, Mississippi to Washington, D.C., and they actually walked with wagons and stuff. It was it was very early in the civil rights movement. And the reason they started in Marks, Mississippi is because it's so backwards. The deeper you get into the South, the creepier it gets, especially Mississippi. So it was segregated back then. And this was my girlfriend. She's a little older than me. And when she was a kid, she got hit in the head with a rock. And the town was still segregated. So she was bleeding from the head and was taken to the hospital by her grandmother. Her and her grandmother had to enter the hospital from the back door, the blacks only door. So most people don't realize that segregation is just one generation away at this point. It's maybe like 2 generations, but there's still grandparents that were alive during segregation. And so last time I was in Marks, Mississippi, they have a train track that cuts through the town. And one side is the white side, and they all have there's sidewalks and stuff, yet no one's out. No one's using the sidewalks. The white people don't need sidewalks over there, right? And the black side of town, which is on the other side of the train tracks, they didn't have, maybe it's changed now, but for the longest time, there was no sidewalks, and everyone out there, is walking around on the streets. They don't have, access to cars because it's a very rural community. So all the black people are out walking around without sidewalks. And even better, they decided to use red clay mud on the side of the roads. They're doing some kind of road work project on the black side of town that took years to do. Might even still be there. I'm not sure. But they decided to use red clay. So you have all these black people walking around with red clay on their shoes. It's just, a complete disgrace. So that's why there's a lot of contempt. If you ever hear anyone, talking with contempt against Mississippi, that's why. And their drivers suck, and they all, especially South Haven, all those assholes go live in South Haven, and then they drive to Memphis and shit up the roads, kind of like Michigan drivers. They'll come to Ohio and shit up our roads, and we just got to deal with it. They don't pay any taxes, but they get to use all of our infrastructure. Michigan can't even figure out how to pay for their own roads right now because everyone drives like shit, and they let fucking 18-wheelers drive all over the place, crumble up the roads. Hey, here's an idea. Hey, what if 18-wheelers just stick to the main roads, and then the smaller trucks that are lighter. So like one truck, like an 18-wheeler, pulls off to a warehouse on the side of the interstate and then gets unloaded, and all of its load gets transported into smaller trucks, and then they could drive to and deliver the product to where they need to go, like smaller box trucks. I think that makes more sense than having like 18 wheelers driving through these towns on these little roads and tearing them up, and it would create more jobs for people, so guys can be like strictly domestic drivers. It's just like, yeah, I just drive in town or in this region. And then there can be 18 wheelers that are like, yeah, I go state to state, or, I'm going long ways statewide, and they just stick to the interstates. But yeah, because like here in Toledo, it's like you have all these 18 wheelers on the road that are just like, and all the roads are shit. Most of the roads are shit. They can't keep up with fixing them. It costs too much money. It takes way too much time. And so, yeah, we need to figure out a better way, not let these like heavy trucks on all the roads, There needs to be like less access, and there needs to be more of an idea of, hey, yeah, these heavy trucks, let's lighten them up or, break them down before they get into the communities. Because over here on Sylvania Avenue in Toledo, it's absolute garbage. The closer you get to downtown, it's just completely shit, I love Toledo and all, but, there's just too many fucking water poisoned people. Here in the whole Midwest, there's so many people that have like tainted brains from all the lead in the water, all the galvanized steel in the ground. It's all leaching into like the water, and everyone's poisoned, especially the older people. These older people were so naive when they were growing up. It was just like our grandparents that were pouring used motor oil down the car drains. All right. These people aren't that bright. You know what I mean? They just didn't know. They didn't have the knowledge. And now they're paying for it because they're all poisoned and shit. You know what I mean? They're all losing. They can't fucking think straight. It's because all those like solvents and shit went straight to their brain. And, most of it was because of their jobs. So they all got poisoned on their own jobs. So, hey, that's what you get for trying to raise a family, right? And anyways, it kind of goes back into my point is most of the men in this country have no spine. They'd rather just guzzle beer and watch the Super Bowl, watch guys play with a ball, just like kids, Jordan Maxwell, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's passed away, but he always had a great analogy. Is like, back in the day, back in the day, the men would sit around and they'd talk politics, because it starts in our communities, right? The political thought, what's going on with your neighbor, how's everyone doing in the community, regardless of people pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, it's incumbent upon the men of the society and the women too. That's why they had social groups back in the day. The men would separate from the women. The men would hang out with the men, and the women would hang out together. And they would talk about the politics, and they would, discuss what's going on. Back in the days of Congress, there used to be fights on the floor of Congress because people would be so passionate about it, but it's always been the same shit. Guys in Congress, they're able to front run information. They know what's coming down the pike. And it's a weird situation when you're in political office, because when you get into the office, you start meeting people that have vested interest in the communities, right? And these are corporate people, corporations and business owners, because they have an incentive to modify the politics to their benefit. So, and as you're a politician, you get in there and you start meeting more people, you get into the muck. It's kind of a double-edged blade, because you start getting into the muck, you start seeing what the development is, like what the philosophies are, what the ideas are that will innovate the community. And so you're seeing 50 years, 100 years down the road, you're getting a glimpse of it. You have a better glimpse of it than the actual like citizens. And so, with that information, you're gonna, it's like, oh, well, this land is cheap over there, and eventually that's going to be all, there's certain things going on that are eventually going to expand in that spot. So might as well buy some land in that part of the community where, you can make some money. And then it becomes politicians front running the policy, and they start taking advantage of everyone. Anyways, all those Congress people look completely stupid out there. And, you know, they kind of dug their own grave. They allowed this shit to happen. And it's because the men of the community and the women of the community will not talk about politics because they're so castrated by their jobs. So they're castrated. They can't even talk politics with each other because it seems like everyone's just out to backstab each other. So good luck finding anyone you meet, have the same political theory as. Oh, here's another thing. I was watching about The Rock, and The Rock is such a piece of shit. He really is. That guy's on so many drugs to make him fucking that big. That's another problem, too. Our whole society's being run by drug addicts, okay? And the best thing you can do for your community and your family is to stop doing drugs. You know what I mean? So if you're, drinking and smoking on the reg, probably the best thing for you to do is probably just, put down the alcohol, put down the fucking drugs, and live a sober life. And now that you bit that apple, you're always going to have those cravings. So, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The more you can resist those cravings, the better you feel about yourself too. So that's the issue. You got Elon Musk, who's tripping on ketamine. He's a complete drug addict. And people don't even realize that. You got people looking up to Joe Rogan. He's a drug addict too. And you got most of society, adults, on pharmaceuticals, and they're drinking alcohol on top of their fucking farms, So they're taking medicine for their body, and they're taking psych meds, and they're drinking on top of it. And they're like, oh, I don't do any drugs. You know what I mean? So we got a whole society addicted to psych meds that are drinking their lives away, and they think that there's no effect on it, mixing. Smoking weed, it helped me do a lot of research, but it really fucks with your head too. It gives you a false sense of confidence as well. And you can pretty much, they call it a pipe dream, right? But you know what a pipe dream is? Pipe dreams are because the guys in the old days would smoke probably opium, and they would talk about all these things they want to do and all these great ideas, but they would never come to fruition because they're just high and talking out of their ass, and that's where the weird pipe dreams come from. So you got a lot of guys that are pipe dreams. Cocaine does that too. I've heard cocaine causes mental retardation. Actually, I've heard that. I can't confirm it, but Robin Williams, he claimed that he did a lot of cocaine back in the day, and that stuff has ether in it. Ether is the stuff that killed, Curious George. It's always the joke. But ether, it's just. I've heard the Colombia president, he's saying that they should nationalize cocaine or they should legalize it, which I think is a terrible idea. I mean, well, there's one part of me that thinks that, going to Walgreens and getting a shot of Dilaudid would be really nice. It'd be really nice. It'd feel really good, but you got to regulate it. Because just because people have money doesn't mean they should have more access than everyone else. You know what I mean? And because that's what we're seeing with Elon Musk. He has all the money in the world, and he's just tripping on ketamine, or even doing bumps of coke at the presidential campaign. It's terrible. It's a complete disgrace, which shows you that our country is completely baked. Our whole society's baked, and it's pretty much just in its end days. And the Muslim culture, is just, they just have a lot better philosophy on life and stuff. And I know there are Muslims out there that, they say one thing and do another. And especially Dubai, it's a lot of the rich guys that they'll be able to do drugs and stuff. Andrew Tate was saying it, that the whole culture, they say they are against it. But if you have so much money, you can get away with the shit, which doesn't make it right. Because as soon as you start doing drugs and start leading a community of people, everyone's fucked. You know what I mean? Sherrod Brown, He was our senator for Ohio, or a congressman, and the guy looks like he's been on drugs for a long time, and we just need better leadership. You know what I mean? And you can't be on drugs leading a family or leading your own household. People are you got people on here on TikTok. I watched a guy, he was saying, talking about doing drug tests, and like really what it is just being able to get past the drug test is a shit test. And yeah, it's just, drugs give you a false sense of confidence and a false sense of time, place, and location. And a lot of people just can't get around it. Very few people can actually thrive on that shit. No one can really, actually, I don't think anyone can really thrive on it. So yeah, our country's ran by drug addicts, and we gotta clean that shit up. We gotta clean up the body. We gotta clean up the food. Quit doing drugs, and tell people that yeah, drugs eventually, like Alex Jones was saying it. He said it pretty good, but eventually, like the end result is like mass suicide, like what is it? Giving over people to sacrifice. Like after so many years of like cultures being on drugs and drugs in our society, it always goes to the same thing, which is ritualistic suicide. And maybe we're reaching that point. But pretty much that's all I got today, guys. Thanks for hearing me out. I need to be doing more talking on here, more political stuff, because yeah, it is a war. Every day is a war, and if you're not getting out there and influencing people in the right direction, then what we're going to get is more of the same shit. And the same shit is wealth and assets consolidating in a few people's hands. We need to break open those 1% pinata and spread around the wealth, because it's already gotten to the point. Traffic is just a sign of how desperate people are for time. No one's getting enough sleep. No one's breathing properly, so they're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. So they're all stressed out, driving, competing with each other. And it's just getting worse and worse. People don't have any time, they're not making enough money, because time is money. And then they're just aggressive drivers because they have no control over their life. Probably on drugs, like the majority of Americans. And but yeah, the driving is a sign of the culture, the health of the culture, So anyways, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for sticking with Monty Royal program. Rant over. Signing out.